Hi. Hi, this is Kim Pinkney, and welcome to my channel. Well, um, here's where I am so far on the pirate. I had to leave abruptly to go jump on a bus. Um, and yesterday I didn't do too much afterwards. It was freaking freezing. Um, I jumped on the bus, and my hands were so cold I didn't really want to do anything. So the only thing that I did is I went back to a picture that I had started and just started coloring it in a bit with some of the colored pencils. It was just so gosh darn cold. I was like, man, dog, it's cold. But once I got onto my second bus and was cruising along, still trying to warm up because he had, I guess, a 15-minute break, the bus driver, and before I got there, and oh gosh, the bus was freaking cold. He should have shut the doors, at least one of the doors. I don't know. I can't make any excuses. But anyway, this is as far as I've gotten on this one, and I'm just coloring it in with some of the same colors that I was using to color this. Okay, so where I kind of left off is I had to ink this part, and then I was going to color this one with like this greenish tone. But I'm having some ideas about the hair. I might be able to like kind of squeeze it underneath the hat and come on out with it. And I want to draw more designs on it. So I think I'm going to set this one aside today, and then I'm going to go ahead and maybe doodle in while I'm on the bus, maybe some other little steampunkish type things or something like that. Just to give myself a break from this. I really wanted to try a different pose, maybe do another possible skin tutorial, or at least start from start to finish skin. Either a lighter tone or a darker tone, or even a whole nother pose, just something a little bit palette cleansing. So I had found this one pose that I really liked, and I'm like, I really want to use this. I'm trying to think of how I can make that really super cool. I'm a big fan of My Hero Academia, so I was thinking about taking one of the characters there and just incorporating that pose. I was even considering putting it on a shirt. I don't know, it's a thought. Let's see, I didn't do anything with this one. It's probably not going to go anywhere. Let's see. I could erase it. Okay. Alright, let me just jot down this idea before I lose it again. I'm terrible when it comes to names of characters. Unless it's said over and over and over and over and over again, I don't remember the names. But if you're a fan like I am of the show, the names don't matter. It's like that dude that does this, or that chick that does that. And it's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But I think I'll do that. I think I'll do that later once I get some really good source images of the character that I like. One of the shows I used to watch was called words are hard on Thursday, sorry about that. Sleepy Hollow. And I like the dynamic between the two main characters before they screwed it up and added other people, and the storyline just went off the rails to the point where it's like, this is unwatchable. So I came across like some old source images of the two characters, and I was like, oh my gosh, I so want to do a little caricature of them. And I remember I did a video. I think I did a video. I might have either just started recording it and never finished it. And I just feel like doing a bit of a caricature this morning. The pirate was only supposed to be kind of like a doodle type of thing, where it's like, one shot thing and then move on to something else. But now I wanted to color it. That's where I went off. So here's kind of like what I had in mind. Ichabod Crane, and then I was wondering what he would look like um, if he was the same Ichabod from the show, but kind of like a Disney type character. Um, and I'm kicking myself because I'm thinking maybe I want to put this on watercolor paper. Well, anyway, whenever I do like my Disney-esque caricatures, I start off like with a circle, and then I'll just build off from there. So this might become like twice as big. So this is pretty much like the core of the skull is kind of how I look at it. And I love how they did the Little Mermaid's eyes. They always kind of started off kind of like a rounded triangle, like kind of off-centered. Isosceles, I think that's what they're called. I can't remember. But it was always kind of like a triangle shape. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's kind of brilliant. So I made that kind of triangle shape whenever I do my caricatures. And I always want to think round. So everything that I put on here is round. There will be very few straight lines in this drawing. So I kind of start off with that, and I start to shape it a little bit more after that. So like this would be, let me see, and then I shape it, erase, add things according to what my source image looks like. And I would do, depending on the age of the character, the eyes would look smaller as they got bigger, as they got older. But if they're young, I make them, big eyes. So I kind of do the same type of thing, and I guess that's why I draw a lot of faces in 3/4. I think it's a lot more interesting to look at than straight-on faces. Anyway, so I found Ichabod in a 3/4 view, and I'm exaggerating his eyes just a bit, but I'm kind of basically keeping a similar shape, almost to how they did the Little Mermaid, but I'm going to change it up just a little bit to match the source image. So it'll still be kind of round right here, and I'm just rounding it out. Give him a little bit of an eyelash line, not necessarily lashes per se, because you don't want him to look, this is a guy and you don't want him to look effeminate. Disney characters have thick eyebrows, so I'm going to thicken up his eyebrows, and luckily his eyebrows are already a little bit thick. Do one on one side, and it's kind of like a rectangle shape. And I like to go around it like kind of like fur. Just give it a kind of like its own little personality. So I give it like a little spikiness here, kind of like he's not like well manicured type of look. So he's kind of a little rough there, even though he is a little bit better kept in the picture. This is like his brow line right here. And I usually extend this a bit and cut into the circle. And he's got this really thin shape, so I'm going to play that up. So I'm going to where his, oh, let me do his nose real quick. His nose is he's got a good sized nose. It's not a honka where it like makes you like, oh my god, that's a huge nose. It's like a mid-sized nose, but it's got a bump in it. So I'm going to play up those bumps just a little bit, and I'm going to give his nose a slightly more upturned tip here, and then come back down. This is like the ball of his nose right about here, and it's got like this triangle shape, and it comes back in, and then his nostrils will be about like right here, but the hole, his nose hole, is kind of large. You can really see that bad boy. So I play that up a little bit. Okay, so his cheekbones are not that pronounced, so I'm not going to emphasize that too much, but I will give him a bit of a cheekbone here and just have that jut out almost as far out as this. And then I'm going to go straight on down at kind of like an angle. And I want to try to keep his features. His mouth is going to be about right here. And then he's got a round chin. I'm just going to make that a little rounder. And then his ears, they're still going to fall in the same neck of the woods as his eyebrow and nose. I'm going to make that a little bit more pronounced, but I'm going to cover it up with hair. And then his jaw is going to come down like this. It's a little bit more pronounced. He also has a beard, a goatee. So I'm going to throw that in there. He doesn't have very thick lips, so I'm just going to give him just some lips here. Not too thin, not too thick. And then his mustache and his goatee, real fuzzy. So I'm going to throw a lot of that out there. And it's pretty much just like little spikes that are kind of like in this kind of shape. So I'm going to do a lot of those. But I'm going to stay close to this shape here. He's also got like little hairs here. And because he's I'm doing him as a kind of like a cartoon. Let's see, it's not that pronounced, but it is there. So keeping it close to the skin. And coming in a little bit. And I'll just bring this out more. Okay, so that's what I've got so far. I'm going to erase some of my stray lines so I don't get too confused. And then I'll give him, I usually give my characters like thin necks if they're skinny people. But he's also got like this coat back in the day. Colonial era. A little bit beyond the colonial era. Civil War, I guess. And he's not as gangly looking as Disney's original Legend of Sleepy Hollow Ichabod Crane. He's a lot hotter. Thank God. Let's see. And I'll just do some jagged lines, but since it's kind of like, if I was thinking of animated cartoon, I would do as few of those lines as possible, because you got to think that somebody would have to redraw it over and over and over again. Okay, so his nose is long and thin. His nostril, and then his hair, let's see. His basic head shape is kind of like this if I cartoon it a bit. I can't see his ear so much, but I'm assuming it's there. There we go. And I can only really see this part of his ear. The rest of it is all hair, baby. So let me throw that in there. Starting from like the top of his head here, or actually we'll do like, we'll give that a little bit of that. And then coming out Okay, he always looks like he's a little haggard. But yeah, if you're being chased by the Headless Horseman, you would be too. Okay, and then right here, he does have a bit of a goatee, and then it leads back to his, I'm sorry, sideburns, and then it leads back to, so he's almost similar to the Pocahontas guy. Let me fix his nose a bit. It's got the bump, and then comes out like that. He's got his tip of the nose is like right there, because I can see the ball right here. So I'm going to do this sort of thing. Okay, so here's my little cartoon version of Ichabod Crane. Yeah, I used to work at Busch Gardens for a few months. I just found that I didn't like working outside, and fate would have it that one of my kids would get sick, and you know, I was doing caricatures, and I just hated working outside. You were out there at all weather, trying to get people to sit for you, and it was just, and then try to, you know, once they sat for you, try to get them to buy the picture, so that you didn't waste your time. And I just open his forehead a little bit. And so that you can see it better, I'm going to go ahead and ink him in a bit. This one here is a brush tip, and it's a Prismacolor Premier. This is the kind of marker I would use. Oh, this one's dried out. Okay. Maybe not this one. I just pulled it out of my pencil thing here. Let's see. Let's see if this one's okay. I should just throw some of these away, but I was going to try to use this fancy idea of using this to... Okay, when they're dry like this, I like using them for like shadow and shade and stuff like that. So I don't throw them away right away. Well, since this is kind of like a Disney-esque type of thing, I will use these markers. Let's see. Kind of outline it in the color that he is. Color, you know, instead of just using black. So I'm going to outline him in orange. Okay, his lips. Oh, let me finish some of these other things here. I'm going to redo his lips just a bit. And we'll throw that in there. This should come out a lot more, just kind of like that. I'll do that in brown, that in brown. Let me fix his lips here. Because he's got so much hair on his, you know, so much of a mustache. It's kind of hard to see his lips. And they've got their own little unique shape. His lips kind of come out like that. And then he's kind of, there goes my speaker. Just knock that off. Let's see. Here we go. Let me pick up my speaker a bit. All right. I can't see his neck because he's got this jacket on. So you seemed like he was a tall guy. And he was a really nice guy. I don't know. I liked his character. He did kind of play the Ichabod role, Ichabod Crane role very well. He was fun to watch. Between him and I believe her name was Abby. It's been a while since I've watched the show. It's just funny to see my old source images, and I didn't do too much with them. Okay. Yeah, I liked their characters. Most of the time, female characters are annoying to me, but she wasn't that bad. She wasn't that bad. Let's see. I thought I had a brown in here. There it is. Brownish. Use that. Oh, here it is. Okay. If I put it back in the tin, I'd probably have an easier time of seeing these things. Okay. So, I'm going to use a little bit of this for his hair. And I'm just kind of following the way his goatee kind of looks. And then that comes back in a bit. Got like a little bit of a soul patch there, not by much. And this is closer. And it seems to follow like that. He's got his sideburn. Yeah, I really liked this show. They had like a bunch of very diverse characters. Alright. And then I'll just use a darker color for his coat. We'll let him have his neck there. Make his eyebrows just a little darker. And then I'll probably just put more detail in it when I get ready to, if I color it, if I got time to color it. Yeah, I got about 15 minutes. Okay, gotta throw in a little bit of personality here. Let's see, I don't want to put any lines on here. Okay, that I can't do anything with. There we go. And this is how I would do caricatures for people. Birthdays and things like that. I would draw them like this, but I'd make their body small. Oops, let me finish his hair here. Oops, wrong color. It's supposed to be this one. No problem. I'll let that be a shadow type of thing. Okay. And I kind of wanted the outline to be a little lighter. And I could probably even get away with a little bit of this yellow here. It's just like an orange or something like that. Because he had like a dirty blonde, brown hair. Blonde highlights? No, he had like brown hair. This could be just a trick of the lighting in his picture here. Okay, make sure I got the right color. Yeah. Alrighty, so I'll go ahead and let that dry. And then he had his sidekick Abby, and she had an interesting role to play too. So let me throw her in here. So if you ever get a chance, see if you can catch a rerun or maybe a saved video of, Sleepy Hollow. It's not bad. It was a lot of fun to watch. At least the first season, and then it just got weird as it got closer to the end. I mean, they make it sound like things had to happen, but there was like a little bit of drama behind the scenes later on. And just stuff happened, and the show, I didn't think the show would be the same without Abby. I think her name was Abby. I can't remember. But she was a lot of fun to watch. It's like, I don't focus on names, I focus on action. Okay, so with her, I'm giving her a bigger eyes. I'm going to give her a couple of eyelashes. I don't want to make her, I want her to be feminine, but she was a tough character. And it was weird. Whenever they gave her like a side romance, it just didn't come off believable. I don't know. I wasn't convinced. I'm like, this guy ain't staying. This guy ain't staying. Because she was a strong character, and she would have needed somebody equally as strong it seemed to carry her. She was a cop. She was smart. She was a cop, and just equally as fun to watch as well. But I swear I thought she was going to be annoying as hell. But no. This is one of the few characters that I kind of admire. That people did right. I mean, she didn't always have to be saved, type of thing. She wasn't stupid. She didn't have to play stupid. It's just, that's how a female character should be. She's not the damsel in distress, even though there were times when each one of them had to be saved. I think I'm drawing her a little too big. Let me see if I can fix that. So to call her a co-star. I think she was more of a. I think she was just as important to the plot as, or to the story as, because she's been with you from the very get-go. She's not like, it wasn't like one of those Game of Thrones type of things where you really shouldn't get attached to anybody type of thing. Okay, so her head is about this big. It's like, I can't form attachments. I don't know if you're going to be gone in the next episode. You know, that sort of thing. Let's see. His head is that big. I don't want her head to be as big. She's not that huge. Yeah, I mean, make her a little smaller. Even though I had gotten her likeness like dead on there. I'm going to change the music just a bit. I was listening to... I thought this was reggae, but I think it might be film. Category. Let me refresh. Because that stuff was putting me to sleep. I'm like, yo, I gotta stay fresh. Okay, this is reggae. There we go. Noise. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on our girl here. Okay, so if he's this big, and I just want her to be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to bring that down. I don't want her to be too small. There we go. We'll start with that size. Her eyes are going to be a little bit bigger. And with Disney, they like to have higher eyebrows. So I'm going to put her eyebrows a little higher. Arch them down a little bit further. I don't need this line anymore because I know where her eyes are now. And you can even take the color, you could even take it a bit further with the cartooning of people, just by exaggerating the features even further. Now her cheekbones aren't as pronounced as his, but they are a little bit further out than his. Her face is a little bit more angular where it comes down more. Like that. She has very full lips. And I think another reason why I like these characters is that they're complete opposites of each other. Except in the form that you know, of their bravery. They're both pretty brave. Ichabod was supposedly, you know, a coward. But I think more, I think of everything, I think it was more self-preservation, if anything. In the show, he's pretty, what's the word? Brave. He's pretty brave. So here's me erasing some of the stray lines that I don't need anymore. And then you can see the image itself there a little bit better. Okay. I could probably have gotten away with just using black. Okay. Yeah, she was a very his sidekick. Uh, the other main character, she's very assertive. She's very tough. She doesn't joke around a lot. It wasn't until later on in the season, I think, that she kind of loosened up, but not by much, though. She was always a tough character, and I admire that about her. I mean, they did try to give her some love interest, but no. Yeah, she was pretty without being glamorous. Um, kind of like what they did for Rebecca Romaine, I think that's her name, in The Librarians. And that'd be another fun one to draw too, as a caricature. Let's see, I was going to have his shoulder here, and then her shoulder here, because they're like side by side. But I don't want him to eclipse her too much. And again, she's a little, let me see if I can make her nose a little smaller. Let's bring it up a little bit. And then bring her mouth up. I should have drew her first. Let's see. Her mouth has this curve to it, and then it comes up. She's got a very thick upper lip, but it kind of her mouth kind of curls down a little bit. Yeah, she's pretty serious. Let's see. Bring that down. Yeah, I think she was more serious and he was more lighthearted. And I think that's kind of another thing I liked about them. She's got a small chin, so her jawline is not working down here. And bring that down this way. She had a wide nose, but it wasn't like too wide. There we go. Her nose would go sideways and then up. Sideways and up. Technical terms. Okay. And I think I'm going to bring her eyebrows just a little further down. Yeah, she was very serious. Very serious person. But I did like their dynamic. It was really a lot of fun. Now you can, when you do caricatures, you can color them so many different ways. Whenever I did like cartoon characters, I would do the people as their features, and then you know, like with the distorted features, and then I would just add the same thing that I saw for their coloring. So I would color them realistically, but I distort their faces unrealistically, I guess you could say. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to try to capture, just to capture their likeness, just to make sure I got their likeness just right. Let's see. I'm going to raise her eye just a little bit because I know that she's like super serious. They never had her in like full glam makeup or anything like that. I mean, considering, you know, you had this headless horseman type guy running around. Like, who's got time for this stuff? Who's got time for romance? I ain't got time for that. Too busy trying to stay alive. Trying to save the world. Okay. Okay, so she's got this sort of thing going on. I'm gonna bring her eyebrows just a bit out like his. Not too much though. I'm gonna keep her feminine. Yeah, men, I love just distorting the crap out of them. But women, especially if you're doing caricatures or cartoons of women, especially live ones that you have in front of you and you're like, okay, I got 15 minutes to draw this person so I can move on to the next one. They want to be pretty. Women don't want to be distorted like cartoon balloon animals or anything like that. They want to look gorgeous. You don't want anybody to like depict you as ugly or, you know, all, you know, you want them to take your best features and bring those forward. And hopefully de-emphasize the weird ones. Your weird features, or things that you don't, you know, you feel insecure about. Like, people don't like, you know, like if they got crooked teeth, they don't want to see that. But one of the things I love drawing, when I was at Busch Gardens doing caricatures, I like doing wispy hair. I mean, you couldn't get away from it. You're at an amusement park. You've got rides that have you being tossed all over the place. So of course your hair is going to be a bit wispy, and it looked cute. Ponytails were fun. Let's see, and you know, and with little girls, you can like have so much fun with them. And then if you find out what people are into, like say, hey, I'm a basketball coach, and this is my team. Oh, I had fun with that one. There was like I think 11. No, at that time there was like 9 guys, and then I just like did a quick caricature of all of them, all together. You know, they were just at the amusement park at that time. Let me see, and I'll throw his shoulder here. Okay, let me see. I've got to double check to make sure I got her likeness before I move forward with inking it. Alright. Okay, she's got big expressive eyes, so let me make sure I capture that. Like she can see through the BS. Her lips were pretty tight. And very pronounced. If you're ever having a hard time capturing the likeness of somebody, if you decide to get into doing caricatures, look at them and it's like, what stands out about them the most? What makes them look like them? For her, I think it's a bit of her nose, her very full lips, and those big eyes. I'm just gonna capture that. There we go. Her nose isn't that far down. So let me see. And that's straight. I think her nose is a little too bent downwards. And then you're just pretty much trying to draw what you see. Let me see if I can get her. Her lips have like this, they're like two big triangles right here. And her bottom lip's pretty full too. And she's got this small chin. And she's got really gorgeous hair. I don't think I captured her as well as I got him. Let's see, her nose isn't that big. Let's see. Captured more of the shape of her eye. There we go. I think I got it now. And she's got a very straight nose. And this part kind of curls under a little bit. This kind of curls under a little bit. And then this part is straight. Let me bring her lip down just a little bit. Not too much because it really is pretty big there. And I'll make her lips a little bit smaller. She's got like this indent on her lip where it makes it kind of come in at the bottom a little bit instead of going straight across. It's very subtle. Okay, I'm just taking a quick look to make sure I got everything. Let me fix her eye here. All right, okay. Let's see, I think with her hair I'll probably do that in black. Yeah, I'll do that around her eyes as well. Let's see. All right, I got it 10 minutes and I gotta go. Okay, here we go. This isn't as thick as the Crayola. Let me get the Crayola one. I want to stay consistent at least to a certain extent. There we go. And this is just one of those Crayola super tips. Let's see. Get her hair. No, it feels like it's drying out. Probably the way I had it stored. Okay. Alright. It's one of those days when none of my blacks want to work. Okay. Except for this one. I can always count on you, Mr. Pintail Pocket Brush. And since she's got this serious look, almost borderline between serious and vulnerable, because it's like, what is this thing? What is going on? Why is it in my town? Yeah, she was a fun character. Zoom out. There we go. And it's kind of funny, watching the librarians, the I think her name is Rebecca Romaine. Yeah. They're dressed similar. This Abby girl here and Rebecca, they both dress the same. I mean, they both wear like a very simple top. They have this leather jacket type of thing. You know, their hair is almost the same too. Only one is white, one's black. Well, Abby came first. I think. Yeah, she came first. Maybe. I watched the shows at different times. I watched this one first. Let's see, and then back to alrighty. Well, this is about all I have time for today. I have to go and brush my fangs and get ready to hop on a bus. Well, hop on my bike and then get to the bus. And I'll just go back over the black with the brown. Lovely. And then I can always do this sort of thing. This is like the highlight. And then all this is black. Alrighty, and we'll toss a little bit of. Alrighty, so this is 11:29, 18. Okay, all right, you guys, and I'll catch you tomorrow. And maybe I'll go ahead and finish up the pirate. Maybe I'll be feeling piratey, and I will catch you tomorrow. And if you haven't had a chance, if you feel froggy, go ahead and like and subscribe and see what I come up with tomorrow. Maybe I'll go ahead and color this in on screen, or I'll work on the pirate and then come back to this if I have time, or I might have something completely different. So you never know with the Kim. Again, thank you for watching and have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye.